Hey y'all, what is going on? Welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new here, my name is Tony. I am a lifestyle vlogger and a self-love and mental health coach. In today's video, I want to talk to you guys about letting go of perfection. Actually, I want to give y'all a story time of when I let go of perfection, how my life pretty much changed like 360. So what I would like to start with is, prior to letting go of perfection, I was very much a perfectionist, very much needing to control everything, and very much thought that if I had my hand in everything, then things would go my way. I had so many different standards to me. I was the #1 student in my high school class. I never seen C's on my report card. In high school, all A's. In college, it was a little more challenging, but I definitely A, B's, and C's. I strive to be the best because that's what I believe success was, but also that was what was instilled in me through grandparents, through family members, through not wanting to be a failure. So I strive to be perfect. What I did not know is that my need to be perfect hindered me from being honest and true. I didn't understand back then that what I was doing was not truly who I was. While I did want to be successful, I also wanted to be into fashion. I used to dabble and dibble in two different worlds, which it still makes me, but I used to kind of keep the two separate in terms of like applying it in my career. Fashion, music has always been my thing, but I also was a top student. I wanted to go to school to be a doctor, a psychologist. I had so many different competing things, and that's because I wasn't being true to myself. I was striving for this perfect life of success, which I used to doubt that I can be successful in fashion, which is a whole other story. But what you'll know is that when I went to college, I dabbled and dibbled in both fashion and in medical because I wanted to do both, but I was doubting fashion, doubting this, doubting journalism. I doubted so much until I just went ahead and committed to being a journalist and getting my degree in mass communications. But I say all that to say, striving to be quote unquote perfect based off of everybody else's standards, based off of fear of failure, based off of fear of not being accepted, that can be stopping you and hindering you from being exactly who you are called to be. So let's talk. I didn't realize that I had this thing about me up until I moved to Washington, D.C. the first time. When I left everyone, family, friends, and I came to DC for a job, right? I applied for a job. I did exactly what everyone said you should do. You need to get up and move if you want to be successful. So I did that. The beautiful thing about this is I love DC. I wanted to be there anyway. I just had this feeling in my gut since I was like a teenager. I applied to Howard. That was where I was going to go to school. I didn't get accepted, but at the same time, I already had this vision in mind. Because I saw a lot of Black successful people in the pamphlets and what I've heard about Howard, it was just Black success. So a part of that is probably what also drove me to want to come to this area, because it still fed into my idea of I'm going to be this perfect, successful woman. But when I got here, started working my job, I was not happy at all. And that's what led me down my journey of trying to discover what the hell am I out here doing? Who the hell am I going to be? And what are the steps to being happy? That was all I wanted because I was so unhappy. I didn't even know I was until I was like out here and everything just started like being in my face. I was crying all the time. I just was depressed and mad, and I couldn't go for that. Luckily, I had just started getting close to God before I left. Writing other Bible verses, just getting to know God's word. But when I got here and I started to do this unpeeling is when I really realized that not only is God prevalent in my world, but God is my world. And I need to strive for who He said I am and not who family, friends, society, culture, peers, who they think I am. Now, let me tell you what happened when I started to let go of perfection. A weight lifted off my shoulders. I no longer gave a you know what about what other people said about me. And that really came in terms of friends, family, anyone in my way of being true to myself. A weight lifted off my shoulder. But also, I started to have better relationships because I wasn't trying to be controlling of how X, Y, and Z should treat me, or I'm going to cause a freaking ruckus. Yes, I still wanted to be in some sort of control of my relationships, because at that point I started striving for peace. And what I started realizing is I can't control anybody else. What I can do is control myself, how I take the way they treat me, and how I'm going to navigate if I want this relationship or if I don't want this relationship. When I stopped striving for perfection, I had better relationships and also a better relationship with myself. And lastly, when I stopped striving for perfection, I started to see more progress in my life. I started to take more strides to being exactly who it is that I decided I wanted to be. I started putting myself out there, going to networking events. That's because when I stopped striving for perfection, I was able to dive deep in, trust myself, honor myself, and take the steps to be myself. And then I started to find my purpose. I believe that this whole journey, me unlearning all of these things that was making me angry and unhappy, and finally getting close to God, hearing who He said He wants me to be, I found my purpose, and I started to strive towards doing that every day of my life. I enrolled in a coaching program to learn how to be a self-love and mental health coach. I started putting myself out there at networking events. I started going on social media, DMing people, letting them know what I do, trying to get them to be a client of mine. I started creating content. I started to get clients. And what I did see was progress and strides in myself. I was happy. There were things outside of my control that were definitely, like I said, distracting me. But compared to the younger version of me, especially in college, I was depressed in college. Compared to the younger version of me, I was at peace and I was happy. All of this wouldn't have happened if I would have continued to strive for perfection. When I let all of that go, I started to have a more fulfilling life. In my ebook, Letting Go of Perfection, I talk more into details about what my journey actually looked like. Different steps on how you can let go of perfection and how to have a more fulfilling lifestyle. This is not going to be easy. You must be honest with yourself, but you also must be honest with your relationship with things, people, and ideas around you. To let go of perfection, you have to redefine success, redefine yourself, and you have to make a decision on who it is you want to be, what it is you want to do in this world. Who is your creator? And you must be able to take the action steps, apply them daily in order to really let go of perfection and become this new version of yourself that will give you a more fulfilling lifestyle. You can find my ebook at thepowersheholds.com, and I will link it here as well. Letting go of perfection has changed my life, and 6 years later, I'm still following these steps. I still have applied these ideas to my life in anything I do, career-wise, personal-wise, anything I do. I'm not striving for perfection. I'm striving for authenticity, for peace, for happiness, and what makes me feel fulfilled. Since letting go of perfection, my career has merged. Who I am outside of work is who I am in work. I don't try to keep the two separate because I'm scared of who these folks would think I am. My lifestyle is more fulfilling because I'm being more honest with myself. I'm not trying to fit anybody's idea of who I should be, anybody's idea of what a perfect employee, a perfect daughter, a perfect granddaughter, perfect friend, none of that. I'm not trying to fit anybody's idea of perfection anymore. Who I am is who I am in every room, and I've done that by following the steps that's in this ebook. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, had a little bit more insight of my journey and my struggle with being a perfectionist. And please subscribe to my channel if you are not. Leave me a comment. Let me know your relationship with being perfect or your relationship with being a perfectionist. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you.